Okay, I'm kind of embarrassed to say it, but there is a part of my kitchen that looks like a tornado hit a grocery store and dropped it all off in my kitchen. But here's the thing, I'm kind of excited about it because I'm going to show you how I am going to organize my kitchen using my mighty method. And we are going to work in the pantry. So here's the thing about my pantry. I have a lot of food and I absolutely love it. And I mentioned I'm going to take you through the mighty method. And the first part of the method is triage, because when you triage, where I was a former emergency nurse, we needed to know who was the sickest, who needed to be treated first, and what the outcome we could expect was. So with this pantry, I'm going to show you exactly what is going on in here. Now, I'm not going to lie, there have been times where I have accidentally had a super sweet soup and been like, I wonder why that is. Or I made cookies that were incredibly salty. I think it's because I had mixed things up. Now, I am getting much better at labeling. I have like my flake salt, I have my baking powder, and I keep my baking powder in a different size than the baking soda so that I can't mix those up, because I have done it before. This section isn't the worst. I can certainly do some tidying here. And in the past, I have collected a ton of jars up there, which, you know, if you can, you get a lot of stuff collected, and you do need to take your jars downstairs a lot, which I do. Don't mind the sound of my cat eating down here. I'm sorry. This is the problem area right here. First of all, if you look up there, we have some very old chips. I actually mentioned this in our Tidy Mighty Club meeting, which, spoiler, we are actually doing the pantry for this month in the Tidy Mighty Club. And I mentioned that I had some very old chips up there, so we're going to tackle those. I also have got kids who have just randomly opened packs of crackers. It all is supposed to go up in that basket, but no, I have failed at going through the chips, and there are many other issues going on. We also have an empty box of pop. This, by the way, if you want to try a really yummy pop this Christmas, go ahead and get this Coke Zero Canada Dry. It's amazing. So if I look at this pantry, I can see there's a lot of things that need to be consolidated. They need to be put in the right spot, and some things need to be put away. So the next step is to simplify, and then we organize, and then we thrive. So let's get to the simplifying. After I do my pantry, I have a couple of other really fun things coming up. We are going to look at some beautiful Christmas lights. I'm a little worried about the weather though. And then I am making some treats, so stay tuned, and having a clean pantry is going to make it that much better. I wanted to ask you a favor. If you like this format, please let me know. Like, where I am just getting to work, we can work on things together. I invite you to declutter and clean along with me. But if you like me putting in the music, please let me know. Also, you can feel free to comment, you can feel free to subscribe and to give me a thumbs up, and that is so helpful.
These are freeze-dried marshmallows, so they will last, and these will actually be really helpful for the hot chocolate that is being consumed right now.
we have done the decluttering mostly. I have a cat that's very friendly right now. And what I'm going to do is just start like shuffling things around here, and then I will finish the stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the island. I'm just going to sort through that, and then I'm going to put it all away. Oh, you buggy. This is Pumpkin. He's the one that's not quite as disabled as the other two. His CH, cerebellar hypoplasia, is not as severe, but it's there. A bunch of stuff that needs to be consolidated. Okay, two things. So I mentioned before about like we do the triage, which we already did, and then we simplify, then we organize. So how I like to organize my pantry, for example, I do still need to wipe in here, but I have like my baking stuff together, and I like to have the canned goods together. In fact, I like to have the ugly stuff over here and then all the pretty jars here. So that looks good. And then the next step is thrive. That is the part where we make sure that we have a habit that helps us keep our space clean and organized. So one of the things that works so well is if you set up a system that maybe on the days when you go grocery shopping, I am going to Costco tonight, you do a quick go through of your pantry, tidy things up. Same for the fridge. That is what works for me. That went really well. My husband was shucking, as he calls it, a pomegranate. Those are so yummy. Anyway, I'm really happy with the pantry. It looks so much cleaner, and there's way less stuff in there. There's still lots of stuff, all the stuff that I use. So I'm happy about that. And now I'm super excited because tomorrow we are going to Victoria to go and look at some pretty Christmas lights, and then I have some other fun things going on in the kitchen. So let's go start that. Life is crazy. So we're headed down south in stormy weather. It is pouring rain. It's actually quite warm. It's like 10 degrees right now, but it'll be dark. It'll be so dark. We're going to be driving in the rain. We're going on our annual trip to see the Christmas lights. We are missing a kid, which makes me so sad. But here's the thing. Life has to go on. We still have to do the things. We can't just stop and just wallow. And yes, I have had moments of feeling sad here and there about things like, he might not even make it home on Christmas, you guys. Maybe Christmas Eve, I hope. But we still have to do things. And I have a bunch of things to do. We also are getting ready for the church Christmas party. I also am needing to keep clean up with the house because it is starting to get messy. So join me. First, we're headed down south to Victoria, and then we're going to come back and do a bunch of stuff here. For dinner. That was a really, really rainy drive. Kids don't want to be in. That was good. Now we're going to the lights, and it's raining less. Good evening. We are back. I am so excited. We're getting ready for bed. It's kind of late, actually. It's like 10:30. I actually just finished getting the last video scheduled and uploaded right after we got home. We got home about 10 to 9. And the lights, I just love them. But what a West Coast experience. Thank goodness the rain actually settled down a lot by the time we actually got to the gardens. It's called Butchart Gardens, and it's gorgeous. We went there once in the summer. It was so nice. But the winter, we always go, and it's always the same, but it's so cool. It's the 12 days of Christmas. So there's like the 3 French hens, and there's just a whole bunch of things. So you can maybe see if any of the things that I showed kind of look familiar. But that one area with the green, oh, that is everybody's favorite in my family. I don't know, probably everybody that goes there is probably everybody's favorite. Oh my gosh, we just love it so much. And it was just pouring. It wasn't, well, pouring on the drive down, it was crazy. And then when we were there, it was definitely raining. And then my son, again, like total BC, Vancouver Island kid. I mean, I grew up in the Kootenays, so it would be similar there for sure. It's wearing like the Birkenstock sandals with socks, which, you know, that's my jam. Like, that's how I walk around my house. I'm happy to go out when it's not raining and wear the sandals. But my son, he's just like, that's just what he wears. So I thought it was funny. And dinner was good too. And I'm just so excited to go to bed. Tomorrow's a big day, so I will see you tomorrow. Get your blankies, get cozy. I have my delicious tea here. This is, I believe it's Yorkshire Tea's Biscuit Brew, which is funny because I know a lot of people in the UK would be like, why are you excited about that tea? And I love it. It's so good. It cost me like $15 a box to get it here. I have to order it off of Amazon, but it's so yummy and I really like it, especially this time of year. Oh my gosh, those first few sips in the morning, like wow, it really just solidifies how addicted I really am to caffeine and of course my love of tea. Today, I am very happy to just enjoy a nice cozy morning by myself. It is Friday, meaning tomorrow is when I do my Sabbath, like my total day off, and I realized I need to start prepping for that more because then I'm starting to like do work and do chores that I don't really want to do during those days. And I think it's so important for like whether or not you are a believer, just to take a day off, like a full day to relax, a full day to just put your feet up and feel like you're not obligated to do anything. And I mean, if you have little kids, that looks different. But for me, I need to make sure like that the big meals are taken care of, and just that the house is tidy. And you know, I love just like watching sort of like a lot of people, like Jewish people that I follow on Instagram, and watching them prepare. And it's just, they love it. They love the rest. So today it's not that. I am doing a little bit of work still, which is annoying, but it's fine. And I am just going to make a delicious treat for the Christmas banquet, which will be so good. I can't wait. And I haven't 100% decided, but I think I'm going to probably do the Starbucks cranberry square or triangle things. It's a Copycat recipe and it is so good. I'm going to start with making lunch, which is chili, and make a call to Apple Care, which is not at all fun. I hate making phone calls at all, especially for service. So I'm going to do that while I cook because why not double task? And then I'm going to work out and then make the yummies. I'm done my workout and I just am quickly, before I add the beans to the chili and make my quick snack, I'm kind of running late and I wanted to wash my hair and do a deep condition, and I have this like really cool conditioner that adds just the tiniest bit of color because I'm getting like more grays, but when you have dark hair and it's curly, it just looks so darn frizzy, which I can't stand the fans on, but whatever. So anyway, we're gonna do all that. So good. It was so fun. It was so delicious. And my treats were such a hit. Yay! And it's good to have some chili in the fridge for a couple of leftovers. That's what I love about meals like that, don't you? Where it just goes. It's just like at least 2 meals. At least 2 meals. So I'm happy about that. Today it's very dark out. It's very stormy and I need to tidy up, make my bed. I've got some laundry to do. And then I want to come back here and talk to you about systems. So the reason why I wanted to show you that clip first was because that is part of a daily system. When I talk about my mighty method, which is the triage, like we did with the pantry before, we looked at what was going on. We looked at what exactly is wrong, what we want to change. We looked at what we wanted to be, how we wanted it to be in the outcome. Then we simplified, we decluttered, we got rid of all the stuff, and then organized. And then we do Thrive, which is the systems. So systems, like anything, like when it comes to the pantry, I already mentioned, just sort of like checking it before I go to the grocery store or whatever. But think about for the rest of your house too. For example, you just saw me make my bed. I do that in the morning, turn on the lights. I also then folded some laundry. That's part of my system. When the laundry is done, I try to fold it and not let it sit because I want to get it folded and put away. That is part of that Thrive. That is part of the system. And a lot of people, we struggle, me too, for sure, in creating those systems. And I find that one of the biggest struggles I have is to figure out, or to get myself to continue and to remember to do the system. And one of the things, like I have my planner and I love, like I will write down everything in the planner, but I also will use my phone. So I love to use my phone for reminders. And I was chatting with my friend Lisa recently. We were talking about how, we don't want to use our phones for everything. But the thing is, like, if you have a tool like that where you can remember something and have something cue you to remember something, it's so helpful. So for example, maybe in the morning you struggle with remembering to make the bed. Maybe it's just not something you do all the time. Like for me, when I was little, I was encouraged to make my bed a lot, but I've gone through many periods of my adulthood where I didn't. But what I could do is set a reminder to make my bed right after I get up. I could be like, 7:45, make the bed or whatever. Another thing could be visual cues. So maybe what you do in the morning is you open the bed up all the way. And then the next time you go in the bedroom, maybe to get dressed or something, you're like, oh my gosh, like I got to make the bed, because that reminds you. We can also use things like Post-it notes in strategic spots. The thing about Post-it notes is we will very quickly become immune to them. I know I certainly am. So if you put something on the mirror, you might need to put a Post-it note in another spot the next day. You can put things by the front door if you need to remember something before you go to work or when you get home or when you pick up the kids. Anything like that can be so helpful for remembering those systems. And when I talk about systems, I'm not talking about like all of these complicated things. It's just those little routines that help us to, like keep our bathroom clean or to get our laundry folded. I know so many people, they hate, or I hate folding. My instinct right away is to be like, they hate folding because I hate folding. No, I hate folding. But maybe you like folding. A lot of people do, but they don't like putting away. For me, I love putting away because that's the last part. But perhaps if you're like, oh, I always forget to put it away, maybe you need to change where you're folding. Maybe if you fold on your bed, which is what I do, then you will be like, okay, I can go ahead. I can't sleep in my bed with clothes all over it. So that's really handy. So maybe you fold and then you go ahead and you put everything away. Maybe that is like your cue. So it's not like you're needing all of these extra systems. It's being strategic about when we do things and how we do things. Maybe like after dinner, for some reason it's really hard to clean up the kitchen. Maybe the problem is that people are sitting down instead of like just getting the work done. Maybe we have to look at who's doing it. In my program, I like to talk about who is doing it, what is happening, when is it happening, or, like I start with what, but anyway, and then where and how. And then quite often, how are we going to remember? How are we going to cue people? So that is how I like to use the Thrive system. It's brighter now, but I just have to sit with that tree behind me, so I'm sitting on the coffee table. Another big part of me wanting my house to run smoothly is having the dishwasher done in the morning. So normally, you know, I like the kids to do it before they went to school, but I only have one kid in school now, so I can get him to do it before he goes to school. But we alternate days, and today is my son, who basically works like crazy shift work now. Like sometimes he starts at 4:30 in the morning, he gets up at 3:30, and last night he got home at midnight. So I could get him to do it, but I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it because, you know, he's learning living life, you know, he's learning balancing everything. And sometimes it's like when there's like socks all over the place and I'm like, ugh, like these socks are driving me crazy. Instead of just being frustrated with it, like just pick it up. So instead of just waiting for the dishwasher to be empty, because then the kitchen just gets more and more dishes and messier and messier, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do him that favor. He's a great kid. He's happy to help me out with all of the things that I do. And I was actually thinking about that because he's 18, like he'll be moving soon. My microphone's like flopping around, but he'll be moving probably soon. So I would be doing it anyway. So I'm just going to do it today because whatever, who cares? So that feels really good to have that done. One thing I wanted to mention is that make sure that you check your subscription status, because YouTube is always fixing things on their end, but it often is just creating havoc. Please like this video. I hope something great happens for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.